Hey, we don't make the rules, we just follow them.
So remember to wear your mask whenever you're outside of your vehicle.
Jeremy, we good? Good afternoon. My name is Scott Gordon, and I'm the principal of Old Town High School. It is my pleasure to welcome you to the commencement ceremonies for the class of 2020. Apologize for the delay. This is our maiden voyage at an airport. If you've ever flown before, my guess is you've been delayed. So you're used to being delayed at an airport. So here we are again. This afternoon represents the 145th graduation ceremony for Old Town High School. The first known class was in 1875, and they completed their schooling at the site of what is now the old Jefferson Street School building. While we don't have any records to completely verify this, we believe that this is the first outdoor graduation for a class of students at Old Town High School. Maybe not the last, who knows? That is 145 years of alumni spread all over the globe in a variety of professions and serving our country in the armed forces. Undoubtedly, there are several alumni in our audience here tonight, and perhaps many watching our live stream from other parts of the world. We remain very proud of every single one of you. Last night at Scholarship and Awards Night, we announced that the class of 2020 earned scholarship money totaling just shy of $1.2 million. As I said last night, this speaks directly to the caliber of student that Old Town High School and RSU 34 turns out annually and has for years. This afternoon, we will proudly unleash the class of 2020 into the world. They are a talented group of young people, and they too will make us proud. The class of 2020 lost two friends on their journey to this day. Elliot Boyce Horn and Dylan McInnes were good friends of many members of the class of 2020 and were taken from us way too soon. The parents of both of these young men will be receiving honorary diplomas from Old Town High School. Please join me in a moment of silence for these two friends of Old Town High School's class of 2020. Thank you. Our first speaker this afternoon is the class of 2020's salutatorian and class president, Ms. Sydney Sheehan.
Who would have thought after 13 years of schooling and learning how to do a good presentation, I'd be talking to a bunch of cars right now. Also, short note. If you recognize me from my last name, I am very, very sorry. Welcome, friends, family, and faculty, to the class of 2020 graduation. And to the class of 2020, we finally did it. I'm honored to stand before you all today as your salutatorian and class president. Who would have predicted that this is how our senior year would go? We have experienced the threat of World War III, the fires of Australia, passing of Kobe Bryant, us entering a worldwide pandemic, and Mr. Mayfield shaved his beard. Even the Simpsons didn't predict that one. It really has been a ride together, hasn't it? Not just senior year, but all of high school. Throughout all the all-nighters that we did trying to pass that one chemistry or physics test, to the rushed math homework, or even the book reviews that were started and finished the period before they were due. Thank you to SparkNotes. Sorry, Miss Davis, wherever you are. We survived the big schedule change and the integration of standards-based, both things we were so looking forward to, I know. We survived the pre-seasons where we didn't want to hear the words, get on the line, or let's just run. We survived the last bell, even though I'm pretty sure it rang a few minutes early each and every day, because there's no way I cut it close that every other day. We survived all this because of Snapchat and Instagram just to get us through the day. We survived all this with the endless Dunkin' and Aroma Joe's runs. We survived because of the upperclassmen and the teachers that took us under their wings and showed us what high school is all about. We survived because of our parents, the frantic texts of, I forgot my PE clothes, or I forgot my laptop or my homework. Or even my favorite and most frequently, the, Mom, can I leave now? But most importantly, we survived because of each other. We have seen many victories and we have experienced great losses. Together, we have shared laughs, usually at one another's expense, and created memories we will never forget. I'm forever grateful to be where I am today, and I'm humbled to stand before you all because I know this battle I fought was not fought alone. Everyone in this class has influenced each other's lives, even in the tiniest of ways. Whether we had biology together sophomore year or played sports together. If we did theater or roamed the halls, we did not roam the halls, we went to the bathroom at the same time together. Even if all you did was vote in the student council election every year, you impacted each other's lives, and for that, I thank you. To all the teachers who pushed us to come this far, even when we pushed back just as hard, who put up with, especially in my case, the annoying, but I could have done better when 95 was not good enough. Or maybe it was the days that we tried to convince them that we should have a movie day, or we just really don't need to work today. For all the hours you guys have spent putting us first, finding what works best for our learning, and having passion and drive to keep going even during these hard times, and on behalf of this class, I thank you for it. To all the coaches and parents who have always been our biggest cheerleaders, and sometimes even our biggest enemies. You have pushed us and supported us. You've nagged and cared. You never gave up hope even when we thought we couldn't do it. Even at our lowest points, you were all there for us. So again, on behalf of this class, I thank you. I thank you all because without you, our battle would not have ended with us crossing the stage. We all thank you because we know some of the battles that we have fought might not have led us to this point where we are able to be together. We thank you all because we know how much of what you all do has gone unnoticed. From the countless hours of tutoring and after practice help to just the extra wake-up call in the morning because we slept through our first and the second and third alarm. I got up to 6 one time, it was great. It's because of all of the unending love, support, and strength that you have given us that we thank you. Because of you all, I stand here today with this amazing medal around my neck and the honor of leading this class into the next chapter of our lives. It is because of all you, I can look back at the last 13 years and smile. Even at my lowest points, I had a class willing to hold me up, and we were all willing to hold each other up. Don't get me wrong now, of course there were the typical dramas of the boyfriends and girlfriends, who broke up with who, the massive fights between the best friends who would never get back together, but ended up going to the mall 3 days later. This class had its ups and downs, and there were a lot of downs, but no matter how down we might have been, we grew from that experience, and we would not change the times we spend together for the world. There were times we got upset about a test or a project we procrastinated on, but we didn't really learn from that because we did the same thing 2 weeks later, but it's okay. And then there were the times of true sadness. The class of 2020 is missing some pieces, but those pieces are not forgotten. Elliot and Dylan forever left their mark on us. Their memories have brought this class together at times when we really needed it, and have brought us stronger and better people. And for that, we thank you, boys, from the bottom of our hearts. And thank you to the families of these two incredible boys for bringing them into our lives and allowing us to share in the memory of them today. Before I end, I would like to thank my parents and my brother. You three have been my rocks even at times I did not deserve it. You put up with my constant complaining and stress and the littlest of things. You ran from event to event even when I forgot to tell you about them until the last minute. You spent countless hours helping me with projects or homework, even when I pushed you guys away and said, I don't need the help. I would not be standing here today without your love and support, so I thank you for giving me everything. Also, thank you to Austin for dropping about $100 on me this year at Roma Joe's because that's awesome. We've won championships and competitions. We have laughed and loved and sometimes even really hated each other. But we have grown. We are off to bigger and better things now, but we are always carry our time at Old Town High School with us. I've learned so much from all of you, and I know my life has changed for the better because I've known all of you. I would say look around and take in these last few moments together, but the windows are kind of making that hard. Sorry. On behalf of the class of 2020, I would like to say we thank you all for these last 4 years. We thank all the parents, administrators, teachers, and staff that have put in so much work these last few months to allow us all this one last chance to see each other. And most importantly, I thank the class of 2020 for all the memories I will cherish forever. Thank you and congratulations to the class of 2020.
Well done, Sydney. So we learned there that she was late to school a lot. She roamed the halls. She drinks a lot of coffee. And she's not happy about her last name. What's up with that? Our guest speaker this afternoon is no stranger to anyone in the class of 2020, and likely the majority of those in attendance. Michael May is the oldest of two sons of Carol and the late Richard May. While Old Town has been fortunate to have no shortage of families who have done much for their community and their school, the May family is legendary in this regard. Much of what they do and have done goes on without advertisement or fanfare. But trust me, they are the epitome of what makes Old Town great. Michael May is an Old Town High School graduate from the class of 1996. He graduated from the University of Maine in 2000 with a Bachelor of Arts in History. From there, Mike proudly served in the United States Army from 2000 to 2004. He is now in his 7th year of teaching social studies at Old Town High School. He and his amazing wife, Mandy, live in Old Town with their two incredible children, Connor and Sadie. As a high school principal for 15 years now, I have learned exactly how important the hiring process is to improving your school. I can say without a doubt, hiring Michael May in my 4th year at Old Town High School was one of the best decisions I have made thus far. He's a stellar individual, a great teacher, and most importantly, someone I feel blessed to call a dear friend. Ladies and gentlemen, Michael May.
Well, I don't really know how I'm going to match that introduction. I had to look to see if that was me he was talking about at first. He did leave off two things but I would say when he asked me what I wanted him to say before I spoke, the most important thing in my life is being your teacher. And the second most important thing that he neglected to say is that I'm 42 and I still live with my mom. So that's a big one for me. Sydney, you did an excellent job. I was telling her I was class president way back in 1996. And that's tough. It's tough to speak in front of a group of people. It's especially hard to speak in front of a group of windshields. Ask any teacher who's been holding Google Meet meetings for the past 2 months with cameras and microphones off. I'm sure none of you all did that to your teachers, though, did you? Thank you, parents, for all the hard work that you did as well with Mr. Gordon for making this day possible. How awesome is this? It's just incredible how awesome this is. And also, parents, thank you for raising your children and giving them to us for 4 years, and us being the staff. Thank you, Ms. President, for yielding time as well for me to speak to your class. And congratulations, students, on your accomplishments in the past 4 years. Mr. Gordon told me I would have 80 minutes for this speech. So if anybody has been in my class, I use 80 minutes all the time. I'm good with that. But I know around minute 74, Mrs. Madden will probably start with the announcements, and you all will start packing your bags and heading for the gate. So I won't need a timer. I'm pretty good. I'm conditioned. Now my address. Okay. 407 years ago, oh boy, that's not the right one. Okay. I paid a freshman. I told them I would give them a P+ if they wrote my address for me. And that's apparently what they came up with. So I'm going to have to go back. Grades close Tuesday. That's definitely an F-. Sorry about that, guys. Okay. Well, let me start. I feel like I'm here to speak on behalf of the staff at Old Town High School. And so that's how I'm going to speak to you tonight, with all the voices of the staff. And I want to start off by saying, know these things. We love you, we miss you, and we are immensely proud of you. You have persevered during the most trying of times. This has been one of the few times we as a collective staff have been unable to say, we know how you feel. We do not know how you feel, but we can listen. Because this has never happened before. None of our graduations were changed because of a pandemic. We are heartbroken that we have not been able to close out the final days of school with you in the traditional way. We all want you to know how much we have cherished our all too brief time in memories with you. It's truly hard to put into words what you mean to us. You were often the first thing we thought about in the morning and the last thing at night. We have always believed in every one of your potential. We laughed with you, we cried with you, we have cheered from the stands at your athletic events, your plays, your band concerts, and watched your robotic competitions online. We have coached you, we have mentored you, we have always cared about you. We have proudly displayed your artwork on our walls. We have taken your fashion advice, often against our better judgment. And we are often around you so much that we even end up talking like you. Liddy, for example. I personally can't even hold a conversation with a non-teaching adult any longer. It doesn't work. They don't know about NBA 2K. I don't know what to talk to them about. When you leave, you will take a piece of us with all of you. Trust me, I know. When I left Old Town High School 24 years ago, the pieces I took of teachers who inspired me ending up bringing me back to Old Town High School and hopefully inspiring my own students to go out and be awesome human beings. Today marks a transition for both of us, both students and staff. Today, you stop looking to us for answers. It is now our time to look to you for your humanity and your leadership. It is our time to live vicariously through you as you head out and fulfill your promise in the world. You see, every spring this country gets a people infusion. A whole new group of promising young people is released into our nation to help save us from our tired old ideals. I don't know if you've been watching the news, but this country needs you all more than ever. Every one of you can and will help make this difference. Whether you go to college, or you go right to work, or you go right to the military, or you don't know what you're going to do. No matter what you do, who you are will always matter more than what you do. And we need you and who you are. What we ask of you will be difficult. We live in what was, is, and always will be the greatest country in the history of the world. Men and women of all colors, religions, and ideologies have fought tirelessly to build, change, and preserve this nation. And now they hand it to you. I wish I had awesome advice about what to do and how to solve all of our problems and bring justice and peace and prosperity and the American dream to all people. But I don't. All I will tell you is that if you wake up every day, you open that door, and you go out there and be you, the kind you, the funny you, the one that smiles at teachers' jokes that really aren't that funny, that makes people feel better, the empathetic you, the ones that help their classmates. I know that is what the world needs right now. On that note, let me leave you with a historical story. You knew that you weren't getting out of here without a historical story, so I'm going to drop one on you before I leave. One of those people that's going to hand or prepare a country that they're ready to hand off to you was a guy named Benjamin Franklin. And one of my favorite freshman answers when I asked, who is Benjamin Franklin? Oh, he was the guy that invented electricity. Well, not really, but he did invent bifocals. And he also was one of our founding fathers. And what would be one of his last acts on the national stage, a wizened 86-year-old Benjamin Franklin attended the Constitutional Convention in 1787. And has probably happened to you at several times during this speech. His attention was kind of wandering during most of the convention. He was 86. That was like being 150 at that time. Franklin often found himself staring at a chair that George Washington sat in. And on the back of that chair was engraved a sun. And Franklin remarked to the man sitting next to him, and I always felt bad for this guy historically because Benjamin Franklin was kind of a crackpot at this point in his life, but he often remarked, he said, I can't tell if that sun is setting or if it's rising, okay? And the guy next to him probably said, I can't either, Ben, just please stop talking. And as the proceedings went on and arguments happened, because we do know people like to argue in proceedings, Benjamin Franklin was sure the sun was setting on this great Republican experiment that had been started in the Revolutionary War. But then in the end, when a compromise was reached, he said, I know, finally I know, the sun is rising on this great nation. We are faced with a similar situation and a question today around the world. Is the sun rising or is the sun setting on the United States? I'm a history teacher. Sometimes people ask me what I think. When I think upon the promise that your class holds, well, the future looks pretty bright to me. Thank you.
Well done, Mr. May. Thank you. Anybody who thought we were going to get out of that without a history lesson, you were wrong. The next speech will be delivered by the valedictorian of the class of 2020, Ms. Michaela Kenny.
To be entirely candid, when I first sat down to write this speech, I contemplated not addressing our unfortunately current situation. And I thought about how easy it would be for me to speak only about the incredible amount of hard work and dedication that it took for me to become valedictorian of Old Town High School's class of 2020. I thought about writing a traditional speech in which I told my own story and celebrated my own successes. And I toyed with the idea of completely ignoring the way in which our senior year came to an abrupt end. I decided that writing something like that would be entirely too easy for me, however, that this type of speech would be completely disingenuous and would lack the emotion that the mere thought of these past 4 years is actually able to evoke in me. The real truth of the matter is that I am unbelievably proud and unquestionably deserving of my accomplishments. But the success I've had throughout high school is already known It's being celebrated just by my having the opportunity to speak here today. However, I alone did not make my high school experience extraordinary, and I alone did not live through the painful lessons of these past 3 months. So how would it be fair of me to waste the opportunity to highlight such a remarkable senior class with such an incredible 4-year journey by talking only about myself? I am certainly not the only senior deserving of a celebration, and I am definitely not the only one who had my high school experience cut far too short. In the speech I wanted to write, I would stand here today and speak about the strength and resilience of this year's outstanding senior class. I would talk about how we courageously waded through these uncharted waters and made history in the face of global turmoil. But the bitter truth is that in the middle of our senior year, as an unforeseeable future rapidly came upon us, we didn't have time to understand why or how things were changing so quickly, and we were forced to adapt in an unprecedented way. As young adults in the midst of one of the greatest turning points of a lifetime, we were cast directly into one of this century's greatest disasters. And we were quickly forced to learn how to navigate it almost entirely for ourselves. We were forced to realize that sometimes, no matter how much you care or how badly you try, plans simply don't come to fruition. That regardless of how important something is to you, sometimes the greater good really does have to come before your own satisfaction. We learned in an incredibly gut-wrenching way that sometimes things just don't work out, and that the only certain thing about the future is its total uncertainty. We learned a lifetime of difficult lessons in less than half a school year, and I wanted to speak today about how wonderfully we handled it, and about how little it affected us. But in all honesty, we all know it was heartbreaking. We are a strong, resilient, phenomenal senior class. We are having to sit and watch an already unpredictable world crumble. And picking up those pieces is almost never easy or anything close to picture perfect. It would have been wrong of me to stand here today and act as if it had been. I think it would also be wrong of me, however, to not acknowledge that even as a heartbroken class, we are still much stronger than most. We are not yet entirely healed, and the slight bitterness that has come to live inside us hasn't yet gone away. But as my favorite poet, Maya Angelou, once said, "You may trode me in the very dirt, but still, like dust, I'll rise." As a class that has been crushed into the earth and dragged through the mud by events completely unforeseeable and uncontrollable to us, no words better describe our current situation. I cannot lie and say it has happened easily or gracefully, but slowly, we as a class have again begun to rise. We have come to be defined by the strength and resilience that we have illustrated throughout the end of our senior year. But it is important to remember that the class of 2020 is much more than these challenging times. We are a class who knows tragedy all too well, but we are one that can find the best in any situation. We are a class who has been handed great atrocities, but that has made us great problem solvers, quick thinkers, and talented innovators. We are a class whose time together has been cut shorter than most, but we have learned to live in the moment and to truly savor every second we are given. Yes, we are a class who has seen unfortunate events, but more importantly, we are a class that has grown into the picture of a promising future. In the speech I wanted to write, I would talk about how outstanding this future looks for all of us, about how hard we've worked to create opportunities for ourselves, and about how prepared we all are for this next chapter in life. But the truth is that everything about the future is unknown, and that right now, even though it is impossible to forget or to ignore what the end of our senior year has turned out to be, we would be remiss to not also acknowledge that we are a class who made history and an unbelievable number of memories throughout the course of our all too short high school years. We have no idea what the future will look like, but we certainly know how incredible the past has already been. Even given this especially abrupt and difficult ending, I reflect upon my time at Old Town High School with nothing but an incredible amount of love and happiness. I have grown so close with this school and its community that at times I almost forget that my first steps through those OTHS doors were only 4 short years ago. I feel as though I've made a billion memories in that relatively little amount of time, and I can honestly say that these have been the best 4 years of my life. I can vividly remember my first time walking through the halls, the first tryout, the first football game, the first prom, the first team dinner. I remember the way it felt to win that state championship and how oddly similar it felt to proudly watch another phenomenal Old Town team do the same. I remember the ecstatic feeling of figuring out that you have a class with your favorite teacher and closest friends. What it's like to laugh and tell stories as you get ready for a game on the bus ride there. And how bittersweet it is to recall a year's memories as you think about how quickly time seems to fly every year when June comes before you know it, far too soon before you are ready for it. Certainly, we are a class that understands the true value of such precious memories. And at times, it seems as though there are so many amazing intricacies wrapped up in the past 4 years that words are simply unable to express how exceptional they have been. It would have been difficult for me to admit it in the speech I wanted to write, but I know that no combination of words in any language on earth will ever be able to express how dearly I will miss my time spent as a Coyote. I have had the chance to become a member of such a remarkable school and its wonderful community, with friends who have been by my side through all the ups and downs of this high school journey, teachers and mentors who have been so generous with their time, their knowledge, and their hearts, coaches who have pushed me to be the best version of myself, and family who have shown me an absolutely endless amount of love and support. It is easy for me to see that even despite the unfortunate end to this high school career, I, and every other student in the senior class here tonight, have so much to reflect upon and be thankful for. Even in this very moment, we are a class who is making history. And though not everything has worked out just as we had planned, I think we have a whole lot to look forward to be excited for, and even more to look back upon and be ever so proud of. So to my great friends in this class of 2020, I know this hasn't been at all easy or even close to fair. But despite every setback and every obstacle, we've made it. So just keep your heads up and keep rising, because us Coyotes have some incredible futures to look forward to. Thank you, guys.
Nice job, Michaela. At this time, we will view the class of 2020 senior video. couple of quick lessons for our graduates. This 51-year-old brain had the senior video next. It was supposed to be the United States Armed Forces medley. So I go backstage and I'm kind of taking a drink off my water bottle, and all the tech guys are looking at me with their eyes are this big. They're like, I'm like, what? They're like, that's not what's supposed to be next. That's supposed to be next. Oh well, two lessons. We all can make mistakes, right? And we can recover from those mistakes, because we did recover. So all good. Next up is the United States Armed Forces medley. What I'd like to have happen, we have 6 or 7 graduates that are going on to serve our country in the armed forces after graduation here tonight. When you hear your song, would you please step out of your vehicle with your mask on and give a wave to everyone? Can we do that? Let's try it. Excellent, thank you. Just a few words before we proceed with the presentation of diplomas. They say it takes a village to raise a child, and over the last few weeks, we've learned that it also takes a village to organize an outdoor graduation. There are so many people that deserve so much more than thank you, and I'm not going to make the fatal mistake of trying to list them all, as I would undoubtedly forget someone. The important thing for our graduates to remember is that this community has your back. In my time in Old Town, I've seen it over and over and over again. Whether it is to make the wishes of a young mother stricken with cancer come to life, or the funding needed for a new art science wing, or the revitalization of an outdoor athletic complex, or the organization of an outdoor graduation, this community rises to the challenge when it is needed. I'm so proud to be a part of this community, and I know that we've created a memory for the class of 2020 that they will hold in their hearts forever. Thank you all so much. Now, to the graduates as we proceed across the stage to get our diplomas, and I'm now joined on stage by Mr. David Walker, RSU 34 Superintendent of Schools. I'm going to ask the graduates to come up as I announce your name. You'll come across the stage. Mr. Walker will put your diploma on the table. You will pick it up. I would ask that you then turn around. At center stage, there's a pink X. If you'd please turn around and hold your diploma in front of you for some pictures, that would be great. And then you'll proceed off to the far stairs and return to your vehicle. This should go relatively well, I'm hoping. And I think we're ready. Mr. Walker, are you ready? All right. Nathaniel David Young. Alexander Jacob Wilson. Austin James Willett. Austin Joshua Wickett. Lyric Melody Whiteley. Elijah Samuel Veyu. Rebecca Elaine Turner. Justin Patrick Sylvain. Dylan Jeffrey Street. Lucas Robert Stoddard. Tanner John Spencer. Emily Dale Spencer. Colby William Spencer. Desmond Michael Soucier. Mia Elise Sockabason. Tajin Gage Smith. Gage Lauren Smith. Kobe Joseph Shaw. Zachary Austin Scalise. Irving Joseph Sapiel Bassett. Gracie May Sanborn. Colin Everett Rutherford. Tyler Cole Russell. Candace Marie Rourke. Jetta Renee Rourke. Zachary Knight Price. Lillian Elizabeth Preble. Swarneem Pokral. Matthew Paul Pelletier. Kristen Faith Pelletier. Jacob Allen O'Leary. Caitlin Kimberly Norton. Jasmine Dawn Nightingale. Sarah Marie Ness. Alexandra Elizabeth Nash. Braden Alexis Neto. Faith Michelle Murray. Kaylee Hope Alicinda Munoz. Kira Lynn Morlock. Amber Lynn Morgan. Ryan Patrick Moore. Haley Jade Moore. Cindy Marie Miller. Tyler Ryan McCannell. Elizabeth Gloria Matson. Kristen Dawn Martin. Devin Christopher Manos. Samuel Maxwell Magoon. Nicholas James Letourneau. Olivia Lynn Legier. Michael Jeffrey Legier. Sierra Dakota Lawrence. Samuel Richard Koch. Nicholas George Kenny. Adam Wilfred Kenny. Riley Jacob Kane. Caleb Austin Kalel. Anthony Vincent Johnston. Madison Elizabeth Rose Huffstutler. Emma Eileen Holson. Jordan Thomas Hobson. Ethan Jagger Hayes. Matthew Tyler Hart. Aisha Nasenga Harris. Nicholas Lee Harrington. Dominic James Graves. Haley Elizabeth Garish. Lillian Delia Francis. Jordan Lee Feehan. Mark Messier Emerton. Amber Jade Dupuis. Wayne Anthony Dorr. Joseph Henry D'Angelo. Olivia Grace Colomb. Jaden May Kane. Haley Ellen Marie Buzzle. Skylar Lynn Burton. Michael James Brown. Sarah Nicole Brothers. Matthew Wayne Brooks, Jr. Christopher Reynolds Bromley. Alec Edward Bouchard. Madison Paige Blockberger. Tegan Marie Blackie. Colby Michael Beal. Rodney James Barnett II. Mackenzie Alice Austin. Alexis Marie Austin. Gavin Reese Anderson. Cassidy Rose Ammerman. Christopher Mark Albert. Bryce Jason Richards. Hannah Elizabeth Sibley. Trinity Paige Malley. Abigail Suzanne McKinley. Gabriel Daniel Talon. Grace Noel Harvey. Brooke Elizabeth Sausung. Claudia Hope Damboyce. Sydney Adele Sheehan. Michaela Royal Jean Kenny. And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen, the class of 2020. At this time, I would like to invite the class of 2020's President, Sydney Sheehan, back to the stage for the traditional turning of the tassels. Now, we received a lot of questions prior to. They should be on the right now, and they're going to move to the left momentarily.
To the class of 2020.
Now, the way we're going to try to exit, with the help of our parking support staff, the first row will go first, this side, moving across the field. Once the first row is gone, this car in the second row will follow behind. If you are going to be part of the motorcade of seniors, you will stay on the right side of the drive on the way out. If you are not going to be part of the motorcade, the drive on the left should be open for you to exit the airport. Thank you so much.